Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Jamila and welcome back to my laboratory. Today we're going to use our embroidery machines to do an applique design on a toddler shirt. I'll have everything I use listed in the description box below this video. And if you like this video, you learned something new, give your girl a thumbs up, share it with your friends, make sure your bell notifications on so you don't miss any of my craft tutorials. Okay guys, to start off our project, this is the embroidery file I'll be using today. Of course, I'll have it linked in the description box. You're going to go ahead and download it and extract it. And it comes in 3 sizes, 4x4, 5x7, and 6x10. Also included in your downloads is the stitch order of the design. And if you're not familiar with the stitch order or know how to read one, the first stitch is basically telling us the first stitch will be just a straight stitch out of the raw arm. The second stitch is the placement stitch, and this is where you'll lay down your material. Third stitch will be the tack down stitch, and you'll cut off the extra material. The fourth stitch will be a satin stitch. Fifth is your teeth and another placement stitch. 6 is the tack down stitch, and 7 through 10 are straight stitch outs, and we don't have to do anything else to the project. Okay guys, one of the first things we want to do is just go ahead and grab a ruler and measure about 2 inches down from the neckline. And for reference, I am using a 2T shirt, and this just lets me know where I want to place my hoop, right? And I also like to take an iron and give me a nice crease just to let me know where the middle of the shirt is. Now I'll be using this mesh cutaway stabilizer, and it's actually really sturdy, but I'm just going to go ahead and use 2 pieces just to be sure. So once we have our stabilizer and everything marked, we'll just go ahead and hoop it. And I am using a 5x7 hoop for this project, okay? So I want to go ahead and hoop it right a little bit above that chalk line, because the chalk line is just where I want to have my design, okay? I don't want to have it too low, not too high, and about 2 inches down is pretty good for a child size shirt. And we're just going to go ahead and pop that into our machine, put in the neck hole through the sewing arm, making sure all of the shirt is below the sewing arm so nothing gets stitched together. Going to go ahead and start off on needle number 1. Then we're going to go ahead and upload our file, and we're going to do that by hitting file, hit the red USB button, find our file, go ahead and then we'll hit the machine button on the right. Then we'll hit the machine button next to the red USB button, find our design again, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. And then we'll go ahead and hit design set. And just to make sure we're in the right hoop, I'm using hoop C, which is the 5x7 hoop. And we're just going to go ahead and hit OK. Once we have that done, you guys, we're going to go ahead and enter the colors of our design. When you're doing an applique design, after the tack down stitch, you want to go ahead and be able to trim off your fabric. So I'm just setting up my Ricoma machine to have my hoop come out. So basically, I'm just going to enter the number, and when I want my hoop to come out, I'm going to hit that little F over here in the corner. Then I'm just going to make sure my machine is on automatic manual so that it will stop and allow me to do the cutting, and then I'll push start again and it'll start up again. Okay, and remember guys, everything I use will be listed in the description box of this video, as well as you can find the file, the vinyl I use, and everything else. Okay. And I really love doing applique designs. Like, I'm really thinking that's my niche, you know? It's just like you can do this design 1,000 times, but use different materials and it will never look the same. So once we have everything going, we're going to go ahead and just trace our design. Make sure our needle is in the center where we made that crease with our iron, and make sure none of the needles is going to be hitting the edge of the machine or anything like that. Once we have everything how we want, we're just going to go ahead and hit start and let it begin stitching out. So my son's birthday is Saturday, June 11th. So of course, I had to make him a shirt. He is entering the terrible twos, you guys. Okay. Let me know if there's any other embroidery projects you guys would like to see, or if there's any more information on a Rokoma machine you guys would like to know. Let me know in the comments. Okay. So when you're doing your applique, the first stitch is the trace stitch, which just lets you know where you need to place your fabric, or in my case, my vinyl. Once you have your fabric down, I like to just hold it in place for a second, just until, the machine starts stitching. I pull it to make sure it doesn't pucker. So once the trace stitch is down, you put your fabric down, and we'll go ahead and do a tax down stitch, which is just tax down your fabric, and then you go ahead and cut everything. Cut as close to the edge as possible without actually cutting the thread, and then you go ahead and hit start again, and that's usually your finishing stitch, which in this case is a satin stitch. Now, this design was about 10,000 stitches. I had my machine going about 900 stitches a minute. So it took me about, we'll just say about 15 minutes to complete the design. And that's with the stopping and me cutting, things like that. So you see, when I remove this shirt, I have a little bit of hoop burn, and I'll show you guys how to get rid of that in a second. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn everything inside out and go ahead and cut away this stabilizer, cut it as close as possible. And then we'll just go ahead and, after I finish cutting away the stabilizer, go ahead and trim up the front, any loose ends, tails, etc. from the project. Yeah, doesn't this look good? Like, even from the back, it looks good. That's how you know your tension and thing is on point, when the design looks just as good in the back as it does in the front. And again, you guys, you'll be able to get the full list of supplies below the video in the description box. Now, to get rid of that hoop burn, I'm just going to spray some cold water onto the shirt and take a rag and just rub it, like apply a little bit of pressure, but not too much pressure. You don't have to like scrub, but just rub it really good. And as you can see, it's gone. So just some cold water and a rag will do the trick, at least for cotton shirts anyway. I've never tried it on any other kind of fabric. So here is my model, aka my boss, admiring the work, and he loves it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.